Well, good afternoon. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Anyway, today we're going to talk about, and this is interesting. And by the way, this is what we call a live vertical presentation. And from this, I also do a podcast with description of, in essence, what we're doing here. And then I also do some shorts around the same theme. It kind of helps me, kind of really cover it real well. But today we're going to talk about animals that, and it's called mimicry. They mimic other animals or insects, mammals, reptiles, so they fool people. They fool other animals. Now you say to yourself, no, get out of here. It's true. And I'm gonna show you why it is. Okay. Camouflage explores the various ways animals camouflage themselves to blend in with their surroundings, like the chameleon. Now, by the way, I pull, and you would say, oh, come on, a chameleon doesn't look like this. Well, you're right. I like color. And hopefully you get the point. Anyway, the snow, another one that kind of does things is the snow leopard. And we'll get into and explain what they do and how they do it. And also the octopus. Okay, Batesian mimicry explains how harmless animals mimic the appearance of dangerous ones, like the harmless hoverfly that mimics the wasp. So somebody said, oh, look at that. It's a wasp. Stay away from it. And the hoverfly says, yeah, they can't figure it out. They think I'm a wasp and they're going to leave me alone. So that's pretty darn cool. Okay, another type of mimicry is Millerian mimicry. It shows how multiple dangerous species mimic each other, like the scarlet king snake, which mimics the coral snake. So in other words, you kind of recognize that the scarlet king snake is not, we'd be wonderful about saying, I want one of these, but bottom line, the coral snake, and even when I was a kid, somehow there was the point of coral snakes are very dangerous and the venom is very dangerous. So yeah, if I instead thought it was a scarlet king snake, not that I would go, oh, no big deal, I'm just pick it up and put it in my pocket. But, if it's mimicking something I think is really dangerous, guess what? I probably won't do that, right? Okay. I know I laugh at my own jokes. Thank you. Okay, the next issue is the power of illusion mimicry as a defense mechanism. It allows these animals to evade predators like the leaf-tailed gecko, which you're looking at, that blends into tree bark. Now, again, as I said earlier, I pull images that are accurate but have different lighting So it personifies them, or I guess I'm trying to enhance it to make sure that everything's okay. Now, these gecko, also the walking stick insect that mimics twigs. So, yeah, it's kind of like, whoops, I thought this was a twig, and actually it's a walking stick insect. Okay, mimicry for attracting prey. Some animals mimic other species to attract prey, like the angler fish that uses a lure, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's on the front of this angler fish, and it resembles a small fish. So somebody looking at this in the sense of the animal world will say, hey, I see a small little bite-size morsel for dinner, lunch, and it turns out, well, actually it's part of a much bigger anglerfish. So you go, whoops, made a mistake on that one. Okay, the next mimicry is for mating. And this is how some species mimic the appearance or sounds of their mates to attract them, like, and what you're looking at, the firefly that flashes a specific pattern to signal its identity. Now, again, you're probably saying, really? Honestly, I don't make things up. And I just absolutely love the fact that we learn things where, I've known a lot of these animals and insects and what have you, and fish, but I never knew they had all these skills. That's like somebody goes in for a job interview and they don't say anything, or they don't write anything on, or they don't have a great, how would you say, resume. If you don't, show the truth, you're not going to know what is going on. So anyway, the mimicry spectrum is from simple to complex. It can include just a simple color pattern to elaborate behaviors, like the orchid mantis, what you're looking at, that mimics flowers to attract prey. What a trick, eh? And they, again, I don't really see that this looks like a flower, but to an insect it might. So, okay, now mimicry in diverse ecosystems. There's the array of animals that use mimicry in various habitats, from rainforests to oceans. Mimicry in the animal kingdom. It shows that mimicry is found across diverse animal groups, including insects, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and mammals. So in other words, they all went to the same school, right? Okay. The future of mimicry, it's like, they're going to stop it or don't stop it. The ongoing evolution of mimicry continues to evolve as species adapt to their environments, like the changing color patterns of moss in response to pollution. Now, I don't even have a picture of that, but the point is that they are so integrated into our world that it's extremely amazing. Now, human impact. Human activities such as habitat destruction and climate change can impact mimicry. Now, the inspiration of mimicry we highlight the potential for biomimicry, drawing inspiration from nature to create new technologies and solutions for human challenges. Now, what you're looking at is a gecko, and what they've done is they recognize the and you're looking at the, I don't want to say hand, but whatever you would say. They've used this to mimic how well it attaches to things. So in real life, with humans, they sometimes copy this gecko. Now, talking about architecture, the Zimbabwe, and inspired by termite mounds, let's go back there, which maintain a stable temperature and humidity through natural ventilation. Now, I love watching termites because they're so industrious. They're so, in essence, where they do a good job, how would you say, having their different duties with different types of termites. But how this has benefited us is the fact that buildings, you know, as I mentioned a second ago, the termite mounds kind of have a form of ventilation to the extent that it keeps it pretty cool inside, regardless with the heat outside. So what you're seeing is these termite mounds that, again, they could be real hot on the outside, but if you get way down inside, it's got a very controlled temperature, which of course is good for everybody. The queen and the babies to be and all the workers and what have you, they all say, hey, I'm comfortable in here. This is a great place to be. So buildings use similar systems, reducing the need for air conditioning and saving energy. Pretty cool. Materials. Scientists have developed adhesives. And that's what I started to say about the gecko. Well, they developed adhesives inspired by the gecko's foot, which can stick to almost any surface without the need for glue. You know, and you know, I've used glue sometimes in the past. And sometimes glue is terrible. It's supposed to be great, Gorilla Glue, but it's not. So these adhesives have potential applications in various fields, including medicine and manufacturing. Now, the very, very interesting, I don't even see really how this links, but hey, I don't make this stuff up. In transportation, the Shinkansen bullet train in Japan was redesigned with a front shape inspired by the kingfisher bird's beak, which allows it to enter tunnels at high speed with minimal noise and air pressure. And let's face it, that all just gets into recognizing, even though I must say this doesn't necessarily look like a that particular animal or bird in the front end there. But the point being is they, through testing with wind tunnels, and they found, and looking at nature, they found the best shape to put on the front of these high-speed trains that will do the best in so many words, cutting through the air. Because when there's a big wind resistance to anything, it reduces speed, and also in a lot of cases you end up using more fuel because it has to work harder, the engines per se, to get up to the speed that these need to be. And they're also saying that when it's approaching a tunnel, because of wind changes and going from an open air to a closed system, in so many words, it makes a big difference as to the shape of the front of the train. So if anybody sits there and says, hey, this is beyond what you would expect, that animals have figured out, I know a lot of it's instinct, but instinct is still real, that they know if they do this and look like this or act like this, they're going to be a lot safer and survive. So I wear a headset, I wear glasses, so you don't know who I am. Or you don't know how old I am. I'm only kidding. Anyway, it's been a pleasure today, as it always is. And what I will be doing now is I turn this into, and it's not the exact verbiage that I went through with my presentation, but I am going to do a mimicry podcast that generally I have two people that discuss the issues back and forth. And it's like the old saying, two heads are better than one. So if you got two people together discussing a topic and they're working off each other, you're going to get a much better podcast. So that's exactly what we do. But anyway, today's been a good day, and I want to thank you very much for being here. And I always hope for the best every day. And believe it or not, I pray for all the animals in the world. And people too. But animals are, I wish people were more like animals in a sense. They only do bad things if they have to, or they kill something because they have to eat. But other than that, they don't go down that path. And sometimes people do. So anyway, I want to thank you very much, and wish you the very, very best. And try to look at my other presentations. It really does help me, honest. So thank you, thank you, thank you.